Our headliner tonight, he is a lawyer. Woo. He's my lawyer. Well, he doesn't know it yet, but he's going to be my lawyer.
Oh, God.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I'm very excited. Mom will talk later.
Yeah.
Let's hear it for Doug X.
I'm going to try this to a man. No.
No.
Is there anything more man than doesn't work for a girl, but I'm going to try it and it's going to work?
Yeah.
With my magic penis.
Yeah.
Which gives me superpowers.
Yes.
Of male privilege. So, this is my show. Theater School Redux. It's actually our third time. First time in Orange County. Thanks! So we made the journey down south. Some of us live here because we're sad. See, I just flew down from Portland, and Portland's a great city because people actually care about each other. And so I got to the airport, and he said, where are you going? And I said, I'm going to Los Angeles because I'm dead inside. He's like, is that what you have to do to be LA? I'm like, it helps. And I realized that the airport, with airport security, is not a good place to talk about how you're dead inside. But being me, I realized that about 10 minutes after I said it. Because I do not have the gift of forethought. I've got many gifts. That one's right out. So, yeah, what the hell do you do with your hands? I missed my microphone. Chris, I'm not happy about this.
Neither am I, sorry.
It's like talking to God and getting an answer.
Yeah.
So, I'm 40, and I'm single. So, as you might expect, I got some very strong opinions about superhero movies. I've been leading to that line for a year now. But my line previous to that I opened a set with was, have you ever had sex so damn good you didn't mind paying for it? Hell, I'm going back to that one now. Apparently that's a keeper. At least for the woman audience. So, I haven't dated, well, I haven't had a girlfriend in about 3.5 years, but the last girl I dated was an engineer. And it is great to date an engineer because they take relationships to the logical endpoint, the logical conclusion, because they test the destruction. But we broke up because we had a slight disagreement about what QED stands for. I won't go into the Latin, but our relationship was quick and easily done. Which is what she said it meant. The last girl I dated was a psychiatrist. Not a psychologist, a psychiatrist. Which, the difference mainly is that she can give out drugs. Not that she ever gave me any. How I begged. But she was a doctor. And of course, we broke up after 6 months, and I loved her because she was beautiful. And she was beautiful because she had lots of plastic surgery. And I like to think that that's sort of the next level of shallow, when you don't care if it's from God or from a surgeon. You just care that it's beautiful. I mean, if you think about that, anybody can be beautiful, and if you embrace that, that's like transcending shallow. Or it's like shallow squared. I really don't have the math on this because I'm not dating the engineer anymore. She needs to check my math. That's not 7. Hannah, forget your mom. You've got the best laugh. I think I must never made you laugh before. Just take a moment to deal with that.
Getting an asthma attack.
If I could kill somebody with humor, like, oh, that would be just the best. I mean, the best had sex, but humor would be a second best. So this girl I was, and I know this woman I was dating, this psychiatrist. I lost my train of thought. Let's get this back. She gave me the best compliment I ever got. And what she said to me was, she said, "You're the first person I've slept with who I think might be smarter than me." Now that sounds like a pretty tepid compliment, but then she said, "It's a real turn-on for me." Still sounds tepid, but I gotta translate that. I gotta break it out from doctorese. Okay? Because doctors are incredibly arrogant. Right? They're arrogant, like next level arrogant. Right? They're arrogant like a CEO is arrogant. All right? They're arrogant like a senator is arrogant. All right? They're arrogant like certain comics on stage right now are arrogant. So, if you translate that from Dr. E's, what she was really saying is, you have a giant, massive, throbbing brain, and I want it inside of me right now. So, and we were in this organization together called Mensa, which is like a fraternity for the socially awkward. But it's got ridiculously high admission standards. You have to score in something called the top 2%, well that's just top 2% in a standardized test, something like an IQ test or some other proxy. And so, you know, and there's a reason why it's a top 2% and not a score, because there is no such thing as an IQ score. If someone says to you at a bar, "Hey, I've got an IQ of 150, I'm a genius, you should sleep with me." First, two things. First, he's lying. And second, it has no meaning. It's like someone saying to you, "My height is 150,000 gazorbazors." It's just empty of semantic content. Much like a guy saying to you he loves you before he's seen you naked. Has no meaning whatsoever. You try to parse that sentence and chart it out, it's just a null set. We're going deep. Engineering jokes, null set, math. This is a STEM night. So, but it's kind of abstract intelligence. What does that mean to be in the top 2% of the bell curve? So let me kind of explain what top 2% means in some other context. So for height among American males, top 2% is like 6'4". All right, and top 2% in penis size is like 11 inches. So, you know, and now, I just think sometimes, what would my dating life be like if I was on the far end of a bell curve and with like, if I was 6'4" with an 11-inch cock? But no, I'm 3 standard deviations from the norm in intelligence. That doesn't help your dating. What do I bring to the table? Critical thinking skills? Reading comprehension? That getting anybody wet? I mean, and again, I don't have a lot of practice in relationships, so I have a lot of time to think about it, and I have theories. And my belief, my firm belief, is that for a woman, the sweet spot for a relationship, where they're absolutely most at home, is when the guy thinks he's smarter than she is. But she knows she's way smarter than him. When you're in that position, you can manipulate the shit out of somebody. You're just like a jewel wasp that stings a cockroach right in the brain, just like doing a lobotomy and just leading around by a nose anywhere you want to go with no resistance whatsoever. Which means I gotta find a girl smarter than me. And where the fuck is that gonna happen? I mean, they're out there, but they're all dating guys who are 6'4" with 11-inch cocks. And leading around with a fucking nose! Or any other protuberance that comes to mind. And you keep laughing like that, I'm gonna ask you to marry me. I'm gonna fucking kill you. I'll cut you. I'll cut you like a bitch. He was part of the bit. So before I got a death threat, which will segue nicely into the later part of my act, you'll see. So now to do that joke, I actually had to do some research about the jewel wasp and cockroaches. So my Google search history is mind-controlling wasp and top 2% penis size. So I'm pretty sure the NSA is going to have some good questions for me. So I did fly from Portland. Actually, I asked you to heckle me, although cool is like the worst heckle ever. You're doing great! Keep it up! You hack!
We'll work on it.
We're all working on it. So I did take the, I did fly down from Portland, and like I don't trust those new high-tech X-rays. I barely trusted the old X-ray machines. I'm like, that's got to be a ton of radiation. And the guy who works is like, it's not radiation, it's radio waves. And he goes, just like your cell phone. First off, what fucking cell phone do you have? From the 1960s, a CB, with radio waves bouncing up, UHF? And second, I don't trust my cell phone. I need it. I can't bear to be a minute without it, but I'm sure it's killing me. So I volunteered for one of those extreme pat-downs. Oh, that's fun. But it's okay. I got mine back. I wore like very, very thin sweatpants and a tank top. So it was just as uncomfortable for him as it was for me. By Victorian standards, I'm pretty sure we're engaged. They are not shy. But I didn't moan because I didn't want to get in trouble. That's gone wrong for me before. When I was younger and dumber, I was in the military, and I got stopped by a military cop, and he was patting me down. And at the time, I like to hassle people. I still do, just not cops. And I said, are you enjoying this as much as I am? He wasn't. So that was the first time in my life I was in the handcuff in the back of a cop car. But the only time I asked if we could stop at 7-Eleven to get donuts. That's all true, by the way. That's all true. I got my buddy arrested. He was perfectly innocent, but he was dumb. This is at the Naval Academy Preparatory School in Newport, Rhode Island, which is by Navy War College. And we were both, I was like 20, he was like 19. And he got into the Naval Academy Prep School by being the fastest 2-miler in the country. The fastest 2-miler in the country. And when the cop yelled at us, did he run? I ran. The fastest 2-miler out of the entire country. Every high school student who ever ran 2 miles, he was the fastest. I ran. He turned around and said, okay, officer. There was a gate between us. The guy had to unlock the gate. We had a 10-yard head start at least. I'm still pissed at it. Not as pissed as his mom. Wow, this is nothing I intended to talk about. Now, ordinarily there's somebody who gives the light and tells you how much time you got, but that person is me. So I'm not checking my notes, because that's one of the things that bother me. Comedians check their notes. I'm just checking time. So I'm a lawyer, as was mentioned by Karen. Apparently I'm her lawyer now. The last MC introduced me as my lawyer, and I actually was her lawyer. With a very successful resolution. She's all praised me on Yelp and crap. But anyway, so I'm a criminal defense attorney, and as a criminal defense attorney, I can tell you that it's not bad to have a baseball bat in your trunk. But if you want to be smart about it, make sure you got a ball and glove, too. People! So, I have felony cases, and felony is where you can go to prison. For a misdemeanor, the worst can happen is you get 364 days in jail in California, which is bad, but it's not next level bad like prison. And so when I have a felony client, and I'm the only thing standing between them and prison, and they see me, yeah, that's the look they get. I'm like, don't worry, I'm good at this. There's like 5 things in the world I'm good at. This is one of them. And I had a client who was facing 9 years in prison. 9 years in prison for one text message. It's a real thing. Now granted, it was a horrific fucking text message. No matter how heartbroken you are, and it's okay to be heartbroken, no matter how heartbroken you are, it is not okay to text your girlfriend, I'm probably going to murder you. Because there's a little statute that happened with the explosion of terrorism called criminal threat, where you can get in trouble and go to prison just for the words you say, if they're unambiguous and immediate. So, think, people.
Okay.
What you need to say is, there's a small but statistically significant probability something bad is going to happen to you in the next 3 years. That is what the law requires. And my favorite thing ever, I was doing that at a bar, and these 2 girls who were sitting near the stage go, really? And I didn't miss a beat. I just shrugged and said, it's arguable. Because that's what attorneys say, right?
Right.
Either no fucking way, or it's arguable. Like, will you take installments? No fucking way. Will I get value for my money? It's arguable. Don't cover your mouth. Laughing is wonderful here. We want more. I mean, admittedly, I've been told you cackle like a witch with a brew. So please don't kill any children. Not that I love children, but I need every audience member I've got. Because it's packing the house. I am really excited to be doing this show, and I'm trying to give everybody I can opportunities to do something they haven't done before and get more time. And as far as I know, that was I think Hannah's first stand-up set on a book show.
In 2 years.
In 2 years.
Yeah.
And the things I haven't done in 2 years. Well, yeah, I gotta know, all right? If I want to keep you here past your time, I think an hour and a half is a perfect time for a comedy show, right? Which is, so part of my, like being a lawyer, like they teach you cross-examination, you want to get in, get what you want, and get out, right? You don't want to drag it. And that's great, right? Right? Yeah.
Get out, yes.
Well, get what you want, and then get out, right? It doesn't get better. But you can't do that as a stand-up comedian. If you're doing 5 minutes or 15 minutes, you can't get the best laugh of the night you're going to get and be like, that's my time. Because they don't appreciate that. MC's like, what? I was taking a piss break. You can't just stop anytime you want. So, I'm a lawyer, but when I went to college, I was actually a theater school major. I was a theater major. And I wanted to write plays, but they kept canceling the playwriting class. And you had to have a certain number of theater credits that you did as productions in order to graduate. And after a semester and a half, I had 0 theater school credit productions. Because with this face, I was never going to cast as a lead. And I didn't have the chops to get cast as the second. And they would have 3 months of rehearsal, even if you're only doing a line or 2 lines or carrying a spear. And I'm like, I don't want to put in that time to say something someone else wrote. It's like stand-up comedy. I don't have somebody else writing my lines. Rise or fall, they're mine. Like the actor who was getting booed doing Hamlet and said, hey, don't blame me, I didn't write this. So I was actually failing as a theater school student. Well, I was never going to graduate. So then I got to change majors. And I'd already been kicked out of one school at this point. I went to California Maritime Academy. I had the highest GPA in my major, a 3.95 GPA, and they kicked me out. Because that school gives demerits. And they got this crazy rule that you can't have more than 200 demerits as a freshman. And after I've been told I was getting kicked out, there was like these little students, like juniors and seniors, who were like officers theoretically. And he came and he's like, you're in the civilian clothes in the mess deck. You can't do that. I said, I'm gonna be kicked out. What more are you gonna do? So, but yeah, some crazy rule like that. So I already been kicked out of one school. So I was in theater. I wasn't transferred either math or philosophy. And I went to philosophy because they had no prerequisites. You know you can take 24 units in a semester? Can. And they were all philosophy classes. Except for Calc 3. I took all philosophy classes and Calculus 3. And that was my easiest class. But you know, that's 2 finals a day for all of finals week. I was a little shattered. So I was carrying a teddy bear the last day. I'm not ashamed of that. I didn't plan on carrying a teddy bear. I just found a teddy bear that I gave to my at that point ex-girlfriend that she had put in the Lost and Found. So I grabbed it. I said, I bought it, it's mine. I got some looks. So I became a philosophy major because I really, really wanted to be unemployed. Which I could then think deep thoughts about. And as a philosophy major, I didn't want to just study philosophy, though I did. I wanted to create my own philosophy. So I created a philosophy called nihilistic minimalism. It's the belief there's nothing and very little of it. And I also wanted to create a religion. I wanted to create a religion called pantheistic atheism. That's when you proudly disbelieve in a wide pantheon of gods. Because why pick just one? Because I always find people like, well, I don't believe in God. Well, I'm like, first off, which one? I mean, you're already like pre-selected. You got that blinders on for the monotheistic, Judeo-Christian heritage. That's no way to be an atheist. You should go back to your pagan roots and don't believe in Thor. Now, this is not sound legal advice, nor is it good for your soul, and I'm not indemnifying you against lightning strikes. And that's my time for tonight.